I miss that sexy smile, looking forward to see you. I hope I will lose control.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today on another episode of the Ruby Hour. I have the amazing Lauren Furey with me. She is one of the most badass chefs that I have met in Charleston. Doer of all the things, lover of all the culinary arts, and my favorite thing about her is she describes what she does as culinary experiences. So much more than cooking. Lauren, how the heck did you get started with what you do?
Well, Shelby, thank you so much for having me here. This is like so fun. What an amazing setup as well. So what do I love?
Yes. How did you get into what you do? Okay. What do you do? Who do you like? What's your sweet spot of all the ways that you cook and create? Who do you like to cook and create for?
So who do I love to cook and create for? Anyone that's hungry for not only a meal, but an experience to remember, like beyond the meal. And so cooking is, like, we cook in the kitchen every night, and a lot of people cook like in their homes, right? It's a daily task. And I try to elevate that for whoever I'm cooking for. So to give them an experience that is fun and interactive.
What does interactive mean?
So it could go in a few ways. Maybe we'll do a cooking class, or maybe you just want to have a dinner party, but you want to see how to make one of the appetizers. So it could be hands-on, demo style, or if you just wanted to sit back and relax, have a cocktail, eat your food, I'll do all the cooking and we'll explain to you where the ingredients are from. And there's so many farmers around here, and I really feel like that they're the ones that are making the culinary experience an experience. It's a story to tell.
I love that. It's like the players, the characters are the ingredients, and their nuances are where they were developed and grown. Oh, are you from Charleston originally?
No, I'm from Philadelphia.
Okay.
So, love Philadelphia. Very cold up there. And when I was graduating high school, I'm like, where are the waves? Where's the sunshine? And so that's what brought me here. I typed in the Google search box, I said best colleges that have waves. And Folly Beach, it's not like Pipeline or anything.
Yeah, no.
Came down here and got on the surfboard and met a lot of nice people and tasty food, and it sold me in the second I stepped off the plane, basically. That y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you sport the y'alls? Are you a y'all sayer?
I feel like I have no option.
I know. Really...
Are you a y'all sayer?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm from Texas, so we have our own little y'all. So what kind of boards do you ride in surfing?
So in surfing, I ride a 7.6 medium board. It's not like a long board. And then I have a skateboard, which is like a carver, and it rides like a surfboard.
Okay.
Yes.
That sounds cool.
Do you surf?
I am a baby surfer.
Okay.
I was in the process of graduating from my foam board onto a green monster board that I couldn't quite crack the code with it. I don't know. My 4 sessions on it consisted mostly of me just face planting and eating crap every time I would fall off of it. So I'm a baby foam board rider at this point in my surfing experience. Yeah.
You'll have to try the 7.6. It's like a step up, but
yeah,
it's like lightweight.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you surf in Philadelphia? How did you learn how to surf?
Yeah, so about 2 hours where I grew up outside of Philadelphia is the Jersey Shore.
Okay.
And my aunt had this foam board, and I always thought it was like the coolest thing ever. it had cobwebs all over it. And I'm like, why aren't you taking this out? And so every day, like, I would be sitting in class and I would check, like, the wave forecast in New Jersey. No car to get there, so I would look up, like, the bus schedule.
Oh my gosh, you were determined.
Yeah, and so I never ended up taking a bus there or anything. So waited till the summertime and just dreamt about it all winter long, and it was well worth the wait. For sure.
That's so cool.
Got a couple surf lessons and learned after I did cry the first lesson.
What happened?
I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way, you know? But it happened, and I was like, all right, like, it's possible.
And here you are.
Yeah.
Surfing dream. Yeah, before we were recording, we were talking shop about some movies. What are some of your favorite movies that come to mind? There's probably a million, but the ones in this moment that are fresh on your mind.
So, Blue Crush, for sure.
Okay.
3 girls, like, headed to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Or they were living in Hawaii.
Okay.
And they ate bologna sandwiches for lunch. But yet, they looked phenom.
Yeah.
They were pro surfers.
The bologna sandwiches are part of the pro surfer diet, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Be total boss babe. Yeah.
And here in Charleston, they have, like, film festivals, and I enjoyed going to some of those. The Italian Film Festival, like, last year.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID.
Yes. That old life we all used to live.
Yes.
Yeah, so what's your family heritage?
So I am half Italian, and then that's my mom.
Okay.
My dad is Irish.
Okay.
So he's in Philadelphia.
Okay.
My mom's down here. And my Nana is from Sicily. I'm sorry, her mom was from Sicily.
Okay.
And then they moved to Philadelphia to start a hair salon.
All right.
Years ago.
Aww.
And some guy just messaged me the other day, and he was like, hey, I'm working in this like activewear clothing store in Philadelphia now. And I know that you used to come in here all the time. We just found your great-grandfather's blow dryers.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like old school hair blow dryers.
Yes. And like neon signs.
What?
I'm like, how can I get these?
Yes.
I'm like, or y'all keep them there. Like, just, that is so cool.
Wow. Where do they find them?
In the basement. Yeah. So I'm going to try your oat milk latte. Thank you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's absolutely nothing crazy.
It's so tasty. Yum. Well done, chef.
Okay. So family heritage, did that influence your perspective with food? Like, when did food come on the radar for you?
So, oh man, I have to say, my mom does not believe she's a great cook, chef, whatever you'd like to call it, and I think her food is amazing. Always was like pretty healthy, and she used to sit me on the kitchen counter like while she cooked, and I can very clearly remember the day I put my hands on the electric stovetop while it was on.
Oh gosh. Oh.
And I'm like, dang, like, what else can you create on the stove? So,
Besides flesh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad.
Okay.
But
right.
she's like, I told you not to.
Yeah. You learned the repercussions of, like, don't do that, and then what that means. Okay. Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So just being around cooking, and what was it? Is there a particular, I know there's so many different styles of cooking and different loves. Some people love to bake. Some people love, working with meats. Do you have a sweet spot that really lights your soul up?
Yeah, what a great question. I love to cook food that has a lot of fresh citrus and herbs, like good olive oil. So whether that be like sprinkled in a dip or on some vegetables, I like elevating already great, amazing ingredients with simple ingredients. And seafood here in Charleston is definitely my favorite thing to cook.
I think there's so many people in our town that love to eat the good seafood.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you one of them?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Oh my gosh, yes. I saw, I think I saw something of your personal artifacts that you have a sea clouds sticker.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, girl, I see you repping your favorite oysters.
Oh, they're so tasty.
Oh, that's so cool. So what has been your culinary trajectory? Like, just your origin story of when were you like, I want to pursue this. I want to really pursue the art of cooking.
So back in high school, I met this amazing chef named Carlo DeMarco, and he is very Italian. He danced around his restaurant kitchen in a beanie with like the brightest personality. And to this day, being I don't know how many years later, it's over 7, we talk weekly.
Oh.
And I can't thank Carlo enough, because I walked into that restaurant through the back door. He told me to come in and meet him, and I was in like sandals and shorts, and we had a meeting, had lunch on the patio, and he's like, so why are you here today? Like, why are we having lunch? And I told him, like, I love to feed people, and your food in this restaurant is insanely good. And so he said, come on in. And I did an internship with him for a year or 2. It eventually turned into a more of a consistent job. And he really believed in me from the start, which meant the world to me. And so little things that he did that he does every day, but I didn't know that chefs did these things, like making prep lists, keeping a clean workspace, and always like having a big cup of like coffee nearby and like a cup of water. Like these little things I still do to this day because he taught me them without even really teaching me them on purpose. Yeah. So Carlo really sparked that flame of my love of cooking and moving around fearlessly in the kitchen, because that's what he did.
What does that mean, to move around fearlessly in the kitchen?
So he had a plan. He had his prep list, and he came prepared. And everything he made, he knew. Like, he had set timers, and since he did all of the work that he needed to do, he was able to be confident in the way he moved and delegated tasks. And he always wiped the edge of his plates down, which I think says a lot about people. So, Carlo, I love you.
Shout out to Carlo.
Shout out to Carlo.
I think that there's something so special, and I've even in my just personal trade of filmmaking at the beginning of this year, I reached out to a handful of filmmakers here locally that I really respect. I love their work and seen them from afar. I think the power of having a real mentor that you get to work with day in, day out, or just for even a brief chapter of life, that stands out to me when you're describing the way that Carlo had his coffee and the water and just these little subtleties that it's almost part of the melody of the way the music that he plays with his hands and mind. I think it's a lost art, mentorship in our generation in a way.
And that's so interesting, like you say that, because I've been thinking about that recently and how mentors have played such like a critical role to me, and I wish more people like had them. And I feel so grateful to even say that I had even one mentor ever.
And yet, so maybe this is a good thing that you clearly have experience with, is how did you seek out that mentorship?
So how did I seek out that mentorship? With Carlo in particular, someone very sweet, one of my past sports coaches in Philadelphia was friends with him, and he connected me with Carlo for this internship. And so that was one thing. And then I had some other mentors. So for example, on like the business side of things, when I was studying at the College of Charleston, I was in entrepreneurship class my freshman year, and there was an entrepreneur in residence, which was like not the teacher, but someone that came into every class to help out and give advice. Because I'm like, I don't know, like I'm here to learn, like I don't know anything about any of this. And he said to me, he's like, yeah, if you ever want to set it to the class, like if you ever want to get a cup of coffee, like let me know. And so I emailed him like right after class, and I'm like, you've been so helpful just in this class, and like I would love to get to know you more as a person and what you've done in your career. And I think just reaching out to people and like taking that step with like an email, or even better, a handwritten note is good.
How did you learn? It sounds like you have a very outgoing tenaciousness about your personality. Where did that come from?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. I think it's a whole lot of like life experiences in one. I've learned through different things that you don't need to take no for an answer. It's really like anything can be possible. I know it sounds cheesy, but if you have like grit, which some people define as like determination for goals in the long run, like living life like a marathon and having like confidence in the process the whole way, like even if it's hard, I think that's kind of built its way into my personality a little bit. And you are too. You're very outgoing and tenacious.
Yeah, I know. I think that was something whenever I first met with you, and you know, I mean, we have a mutual friend that connected us, and you know, just starting to shout out to Betsy, love you. Yeah, just it really catches my eye to see people in our generation, and even that are go-getters versus just expecting to follow a certain trajectory. You know, and all of my close friend group all know this is something I riff about all the time, but it's like, yeah, it is that trailblazing, like, hey, I'm gonna carve my own path of who are the people I want to learn from or rub shoulders with. That's really been on my mind a lot as well. Do you have who are any other people in your culinary journey, or just contributing to you being the person you are today? Who's been another person like that in your life?
Oh, definitely. And gosh, I don't want to leave anyone out, but of course, Nathalie Dupree. She's 81, and she just moved to Raleigh after living in Charleston for 20 years or so. And when I came to Charleston, I didn't know too many people in the culinary community. And I wasn't aware of how close-knit it was until I stepped foot in it. And the person that helped me step foot in it is definitely Natalie.
And for people who aren't in the food scene,
yes,
who is Natalie?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Tell a little bit about who's Nathalie Dupree.
So Nathalie Dupree, she is a cookbook author. She's a cooking show host. She is a mentor. And she has won numerous James Beard Awards, which in the culinary community is a very large, meaningful award. She has written so many cookbooks, and she is the first woman since Julia Child to have over a certain amount of shows on Food Network and other stations as well. So she's had a crazy career, and she's connected so many people. And the best part about her, it's hard to pick one, but she has done such a tremendous amount in her career and for other people in building this Charleston food and beverage community. You wouldn't really know when you just meet her, because she's just very funny, and she doesn't have I don't know, she doesn't act like she's better than anyone else or anything like that. Very graceful and elegant and humble.
Yeah. Wow.
And funny.
Oh my gosh.
She says sex in every photo.
What?
instead of cheese. If you say sex.
Oh my gosh. I have a mentor that she said to say play, because it opens your mouth wider, but sex. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I might have to direct people at weddings like that. All right, sex on 3, folks. Yeah.
That's so great.
That's amazing.
And what about you?
Mentors?
Yes, mentors.
Ooh. Going into the dungeons of my mind. The first mentor that comes to mind for me, thank you for asking that.
Yeah.
I would say I have a mentor that's in Austin, Texas, that I met him whenever I was modeling. I was just getting into being in front of the camera, and it was a really challenging chapter in my life, if I'm honest. And I was in a bit of a hustling dynamic in my life to be able to put food on the table. And but I had met him from the photographer, Austin, Texas doesn't have a crazy fashion scene. But I had crossed paths with him. We'd been working together, and there was a moment, and this is kind of cool to tie it into the whole go-getter mentality. The scope of the agreement, if we were going to come together and do a half-day shoot, maybe it was 4 hours, some of our shoots with hair and makeup would end up being closer to 6 or 7 hours. And that had repercussions in my personal life, where I would come home and my husband at the time was really frustrated that, I thought that you were going to be home by this time. It just created some discourse in my personal world. So I brought it up with my photographer friend and was like, hey, this really doesn't work for me. The agreement that we have set up, the time has shifted, and we need to shift this up. And I spoke up about it, and I think that a lot of models wouldn't have said something or called out oh, we need to tweak this. And he was like, absolutely, thank you for bringing that to my attention. Let's shift it to an hourly rate, and I'd like to increase that. He immediately responded with affirming, thanks for communicating what you need, and let's make this an even better arrangement. So I had started working with him, and it's my speculation. He doesn't share a lot of, he's a more private person, so he's not, I can be an open book at times, but I think that it was perhaps that moment when I spoke up and was assertive that he saw a little glimmer of hey, who is this 20-year-old woman that is over here lining out the scope of agreement and redefining and making sure that things are, she's running a tight ship with our working arrangement. And so when I was going through divorcing my husband at the time, he was somebody that came back into my life and was a really big influence on me. And I was on my way shifting from being a first mate on sailboats into taking on a private chef position on term charter boats. And I was pumped to go back down to the Caribbean and like frolic around in a bikini and like cook for people. And he told me, you know, Shelby, you're going to have such a good time with this chapter of your life, running around, live it up, but your number one asset is your mind. So you might be enjoying these certain perks of being a lovely, beautiful young woman and, you know, celebrating your body, some of the more like carnal sides of my life. But he was like, the thing that you need to always put at the forefront is your mind. Wow. So he was like, always be thinking of ways to, what can you do with that? Because that is the most attractive, most powerful thing that you'll have with you in this lifetime. And, you know, I was like, oh my gosh, like, yes, that's perfectly, I know. But that never, it left an impression. And the context of, I had met him from a very physical job of doing modeling and being appreciated for an external beauty appearance, and him being like, never neglect your mind. So he's somebody, I mean, that was over 10 years ago, and we still keep in touch, and always, you know, he's somebody that he's given me a lot of opportunities and a lot of life experience too, through the years. And not, you know, I don't model in, that's not my world anymore other than for fun. But that was an experience that changed my life, is having somebody that so believed in me on that level of not just like, yeah, go for it, but was like, look, I know you're going to have a good time in this chapter, but you should always be investing in that head that's on your shoulders.
It sounds like he saw a whole lot in you.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all that.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
All right. With food, if there was a vegetable that you identify with, or is like your spirit animal of a vegetable that you identify with, what would that vegetable be?
Broccolini. Of course.
So quick. What? Tell me why.
I love how it is like so tender and like pretty. Like it's accurate so far. I don't know. It's cool because like you eat the stalk too, and it's like you can just throw it in the oven with like Parmesan and lemon and let it like do its thing in the oven, and it's so
it sounds so good. I'm like, Parmesan and lemon, yes please.
It gets like charred and it's just so tasty. What about you?
I think an eggplant.
I was gonna say eggplant.
That's the first thing that comes to mind. One of my girlfriends, she's reading through, I'm probably gonna butcher how to pronounce his name, but I think it's like Otto Lengi.
Yeah, you got it.
So she's working through one of his recipes that is, I think it's a steamed eggplant dish, and I've recently saw it while we were drinking tequila together, and I was like, that's just stayed on my mind. There's like sesame oil with it, and I just appreciate a lot of like Otto Lengi's style of cuisine. But I think an eggplant, eggplants, like, yeah, sometimes they might like mess up my sinuses a little, the whole nightshade thing, like,
yes.
But also they are the texture, and there's such an array of different types of eggplant. There's the emoji eggplant that is your standard eggplant, but I mean, there's just, I think eggplant is cool. And also, for the record, the fruit that I identify with right now is egg fruit. Have you ever had this?
No. Egg fruit.
Lauren, I'm about to blow your mind.
What?
So it looks like a giant egg yolk.
Okay.
And it's kind of this bulbous, like, round bright yellow fruit, like an egg yolk, and you can open it up, and I swear it has the consistency of a cheesecake. It's really mellow. It's really mild.
A cheesecake.
Yes. There's one of my girlfriends, Jasmine. Hey, girl. Hey. She gets these it's called Miami Fruit or Miami Fruit boxes. I'll have to put it in the show notes, but it's this awesome farm that's around Miami, and they have all these really unique, like you can get full cacao pods. Ooh. Not just roasted raw, where they still have the like slimy structure, and you literally get the entire pod.
No way.
Yeah, she gave me half of her cacao pod the other day, and I ate like half. Apparently if you eat too much of it, it's hallucinogenic before it's roasted, but I was like popping on the video editing and it's like the new seeing Tide like pod. Fairies. Yeah, it's the new Tide Pod, pretty much. Cacao pods. The cacao pod challenge. But the egg fruit is a really unique fruit, and that Miami Fruit boxes, you can get all these crazy, they're called Caviar Limes. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
They look like, I don't know how crystal clear your memory is from watching The Little Mermaid, but there's a scene where Ursula is like squeezing like little, I think they're like coral, and she puts the lipstick on, she squeezes them. You can do that with these limes, the caviar limes, and they look like little tiny pieces of caviar, but they're just the cell structure essentially of the lime pieces. Like
wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like really
You're gonna
good.
wig out. You're gonna freak out. It's really cool. So anyway,
I drive down to Miami just to get some of those.
Yes.
Those egg yolks.
Well, they can. They will send them to you. So you don't have to drive unless you just really want to go on a fun road trip. Which I would totally go to Miami just to go to their amazing farm. I think they're like two amazing. They're like vegans. They're really plant based. Like I think it's 2 women, or it's a total micro farm, and they have really crazy fruits, fruit trees that are growing. What would be a fruit that you would identify with, the equivalent of your vegetable soul plant?
Probably watermelon. So watermelon with like salt, or just watermelon with a spoon like in the half is great.
Okay. Seeds or no seeds?
Every time they call it seedless, I'm like, y'all, there's still seeds in it.
There's seeds.
So I guess like seeds are totally fine.
Okay. With seeds, let's see, what color of there's so many different watermelons. Are you a yellow watermelon kind of girl? Are you like a deep red? Like what kind of?
Whatever it is, as long as it's not like bland.
Yeah.
Like when it's or too ripe, they get like gross.
Yeah, kind of that mealy.
Yeah. I was gonna say mealy, but I'm like, it's like a curse word. Mealy and
mealy. Like, have you met that girl? Oh, she's mealy. Yes. Yes.
Oh my god. Or you can put tequila, like soaked watermelon. That's pretty good.
Okay. Yes. I love that. So I want to know more around the skateboarding. The board sports. Like, where did that come from in your life? Did you live on a hill?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What's your origin story with board sports? That's unusual.
So back in the day, like I don't know how old I was, but I used to like get like a backboards baseball hat. Shocker. And
I'm seeing it.
And like I took there's a surf shop in Jersey called Surfer Supplies. Another shocker. And I like cut the sleeves off, so I used to like put that on. And I had this skateboard with a huge panda on it. It's like I used to like love pandas back in the day. Like it was my like childhood animal, like favorite animal. Yeah. So I would we did live on a hill, and I would take this skateboard out after watching Blue Crush probably, definitely, after watching that. And see, like, how far I could go before, like, the speed wobbles. You know about those?
I just know when it's really terrifying and you have to eat crap and pass out and eat the curve. Yeah.
Yes. And so each day, like, I would go, like, a little further until one day I got the whole hill.
Okay.
So, and then I did a half pipe once, and that didn't go too well.
No? What happened?
I just fell on my back.
Oh.
And it was, like, a whole thing.
Did you cry?
I did not cry.
Oh.
Well, I just, like, it was lunchtime, and I'm like, this is the perfect excuse to, like, put the skateboard down.
Yeah. And get out of this half pipe.
Yeah. Have you had a time at boarding yet? Or?
My neighbors across the street, we would take skateboards and, like, push each other down the driveway, and it was more of like a bobsledding on a skateboard setup.
Wow,
a lot
that's
of like
official.
fingers going underneath the board, just trying to hold on, but also being very close to the wheels.
Yeah.
I did. Okay, this is kind of my jam. This makes me want to go get a skateboard so I can just do this, where you lay on your belly like an emperor penguin and you just push yourself around. That's a favorite skateboarding pastime.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we had a hill by my house. It was a fine hill. There was a hill on both sides, actually.
Oh wow! All the hills.
Yeah, so we had options. The one was way more dangerous if there was a car coming. It was very aggressive. But my dad made kind of a sledding slot. I don't even know what the right term is for it, but he made this cool body shape, and you like sit on it, and then it had like handles.
Are you serious?
Yeah, try
How
to like
fun.
carve down the hill.
He made it.
He did.
That's amazing.
He welded stuff together for it.
Wow.
That's how intense it was.
Very crafty.
Yeah, super crafty. He helped me with a lot of my, our Quest, our gifted and talented program that I was a part of. We had to do like a levers, one of those, demonstrate what a lever is and a pulley system and like, use a fulcrum, like some of those things. And I'll never forget that my dad helped me make a guinea pig food measuring device. So there was a lever arm that was 3 boards stacked on top of one another. The first layer was the right portion of guinea pig food, and then you had to slide it across the middle board, so it's just moving it along using the axis or the fulcrum or whatever part of the system, and then it would drop and you put it over the guinea pig food bowl. But it had wheels, and that was a big deal. It had to have wheels so you could maneuver it over the guinea pig.
You have this down. Are you like
food bowl.
A low-key like physicist?
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. But that, how some people are like, oh, my parents did all of my projects for me, school projects. That was the one thing I was like, I did barely anything on my guinea pig feeding fulcrum axis lever project. But it was pretty cool.
Was it like the coolest in the class?
I think so. I don't remember anybody else's because mine was the best. So, yeah. All right, are you left-handed or right-handed?
I'm left-handed.
Okay.
Yes. And you are?
I'm left-handed.
Okay.
Lefties unite. Let's see. What about music? Like, when you're cooking, do you listen to music? Like, you use that term to move fearlessly around the kitchen. Do you feel like you embody that when you cook?
Oh, like when I'm just at home cooking?
Yeah.
Yes. So, with the music part, at dinner parties, I don't ever, like, pick the music.
Yeah.
If they want to. Like, sometimes I have, like, the speaker. But if I'm, like, at home, it depends on the day. I've been into, like, Tosh Sultana.
Okay.
Do you know about her?
No.
She's like Australian, has dreadlocks, and she's kind of like a one-woman show. So she'll like sit here like, and she would have all this like equipment. Like she has, like hits a button and like the beats play. There's a name for that.
Yes, it's like loops. Is it kind of EDM where she can layer on and then like have another loop and then she like turns it into a full.
Yeah, and then her voice, just some like angel in the background, like reggae surfer vibes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to send you a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her name is Tosh Sultana?
Yes.
Okay, is she on Spotify?
She is on Spotify.
Okay.
And, I went to her concert once, and she just like, the fact that one person could produce like music like that is incredible to me. What about you? Music while cooking?
Oh, it varies. It depends on the mood and the ambiance and who I'm cooking for.
Yes.
And also if it's coming off of a big stressful day, or if it's like, is the cooking a main event? I think I love some chill, some like Leon Bridges radio, that kind of vibes. It's sweet, or Shaky Graves.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of that vibe. If I'm wanting to feel festive, maybe I'll put some like Frank Sinatra on, and really want to like play up if I'm doing anything that's like Italian inspired.
Broccolini.
Yeah, a little broccolini action. I'm gonna have to bust out. I'm gonna need to go to the store after this to get some Parmesan. I also, but then if I'm cooking Mexican food or something that has more of a Latin style, like I like to match the music with the sort of genre of food.
Yes.
So
definitely.
just to make it more, I'm all about experiences of, just like full with auditory, and in addition to hearing the food cook, then the smells, and maybe I'll freaking put a mariachi outfit on while I'm like cook. I mean, I don't know. You never know.
You never know.
What has been one of the most difficult dishes that you have created, or something that really stretched, you feel, your culinary ability?
Oh man, that's a good question. So since like all menus, so for each culinary experience, right, no menu is the same. There is some favorite dishes that I'll make for people like over and over again, because they just see it on one of like my Instagrams, or they're like, oh, like we would love that dish, so I'll do that. But in terms of a dish that has been super challenging in the past, oh man. So I could either say something that's like very hard to make, like a big fancy dish, but on the simple side, I've had a time with poached eggs, like making sure they're the perfect shape and all of that. I don't make them a lot, and so that's something that Natalie taught me, and she was like, sweet pea, like there's no way you're gonna have it down the first time, so like here's like 500 eggs, and like each time you'll notice it gets a little like better. So she said no, and eventually got there.
Did you eat all 500 eggs?
I did. I was like a lot of protein.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like jacked.
The next day you're like, I'm gonna go for a long run and not stop.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like ran all the way down to Miami, got some egg fruits.
Got some egg fruits, juggling egg fruits back after eating 500 eggs. It's a good day.
Yeah, definitely a good day. Man. For a dinner party, so I was asked to make a bacon wrapped turkey. So
Okay.
Actually, it was a dinner party at Williams-Sonoma. So during college, I was like a culinary instructor doing cooking classes at Williams-Sonoma, and I was probably like 21 and was working in restaurants on the days that I wasn't there. And so I was trying to gain experience like behind the line and then also in front of people, because the in front of people aspect really meant a lot to me as well, to make sure that I was able to take what I learned in the restaurants and be able to present it in front of people, like, during the process. And so cooking while talking and like having that prep list, so I knew at what time everything needs to be done. So this bacon wrapped turkey came along, and it was my worst nightmare. The turkey was like 5 million pounds, and being wrapped in bacon, it was like a huge task for me.
How did you secure the bacon onto the structure of the turkey?
So you know how bacon, like, it's not sticky, but it's like it could stick to something. Like,
yes.
So it stuck to the turkey.
Okay.
And I was trying to thoroughly cook the bacon and the turkey. And so this was not a recipe that I picked. It was like a Williams-Sonoma recipe. And it turned out it was not the way I wanted it to look, like, presented-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, I fixed a few things, put it back in the oven, and it turned out, I had my meat thermometer there, it was cooked. And the guests knew that it was, like, not fun for me back there. But they said that it was still fun. Like,
okay.
yeah.
How long were the guests there for, like, 5 hours in the course of this thing?
Yeah, well, that was... I would have never demonstrated that turkey, but it wasn't like I didn't have a choice. Like, it was on the menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were there for a while. We became.
You're like
tight.
sobbing in the corner, and there's like smoke coming out of the oven of the bacon, just like totally just going rogue. Yeah,
and oh my gosh, and oysters, they can dry out so quickly, but like I've learned that you gotta keep your eye on them before they do that, and use rock salt to keep the temperature right in there.
Yeah. What does the rock salt do?
So it helps the oysters like maintain heat, and also it looks pretty on the platter.
It looks very pretty. Yes.
So it's like you go to the store, it's like a box, it's like $2, and you cover a whole like sheet pan and probably fit like a dozen oysters on there, and then you'll have some left over, and then you can have a nice little platter and have your roasted oysters on there. So
yes. We just referenced it with your 500 eggs and running down to Florida. What are some of your favorite ways that you like to unwind, or tell me about your movement practices in your life.
Yes, and like, so movement, and you're also super into fitness and stuff too, right? Every morning I try to go run or ride my bike, surf if there's waves. I'm an early riser, so...
How early are you in an early riser setting?
So it depends if I set my alarm or not. Today I did not, and I woke up at like 6:45. Mm-hmm. Sometimes like 6. If it's like, if I had a million dinner parties in a row, if I don't set my alarm, I might not wake up till like 8.
Yeah.
So going for a run, some good music.
Which, when you're running, are you listening to Tosh Sultana, or are you listening? Who are you listening to when you're running?
Definitely some hip hop.
Oh, snap! Wait, what kind of hip hop?
Oh, like Rap Caviar on Spotify.
Okay, girl.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. The beats. It's all about the beat. I don't really want to know what they're saying sometimes, but that beat.
Yeah. You gotta get down with the bass line.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So now I'll know if I see you running downtown, you're probably over there with like 50 Cent in the club.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a little Troy Boy. I don't know.
Amigos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite cocktail of choice? Cocktail or wine? Your favorite alcohol?
So tequila is my fave. I heard you talking about that earlier. Mm-hmm. Tequila soda with a lime's good.
Okay.
Just like, that's my go-to.
Love it.
Old fashions are tasty.
Okay.
Yeah. A little wine. Really red, white, rosé.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good. I do love white.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I think that I've gone through a lot of phases, but my staples are an amazing gin and tonic.
Oh, yes.
Like a proper tonic water, a proper gin. I mean, shout out to my buddy Duco over on Saba Island. It's one of the best dining experiences. Going onto this fairy tale island that is just a giant rock that's in the middle of the Caribbean. He was a part of this amazing resort called Queen's Garden.
Okay.
And you sit down at this beautiful like terrace style seating, and he walks up to the table, doesn't say anything yet, and just looks at you because he's waiting to hear what language you speak, because there's people, it's a Dutch Caribbean island, and so you might be a Dane, you might be speaking French to him, you might be, I mean, just whatever walk of life. So I think he spoke something like 6 languages.
Wow.
So it was amazing to see him go to a table and start talking with one table in Dutch, and then go to another table and he's speaking French, and then he comes over to us and he's speaking in English, and then, I mean, just amazing. And then Johan is I don't know if he still is the chef there. If he is, I miss your food. But the community there, I know that Duco, when we first sat down, I was with 2 friends doing a boat delivery, he walks up to the table and he's like, my girlfriend's like, do you have a wine list? And he was like, do you like cocktails? And she was like, yeah. And he's like, gin and tonics for the table, and walks off. And I was like, yes. And Laura sitting there being like, what? Like, I wanted the wine list. What's going on? And he brought over these custom ice cubes that he made himself that were infused based on our personalities. So he had this repertoire of, lavender infused with cayenne, and then a lemongrass mixed with ginger with a little hint of star anise. Like, just the craziest combinations paired with different kinds of gin. One of the most extensive gin collections maybe anywhere in the world, definitely in the Caribbean. So that forever to me, gin and tonics always have a special place in my heart. I also love what's like another good, I love Campari soda, little splash of orange. One of my charter guests that Hanako, love you, she taught me, like, that was her favorite thing she had with most lunches, was just like a little bit of Campari and soda, a little spritz of some orange. So I have really, I guess I imprint beverage experiences and food with memories. And you and I had talked about that a little before we started recording, of how I'm like a memory collector. So I think that those are probably my main things. I like a very, very spicy tequila. Like, give me a margarita that's made out of fresh citrus, and like make it where I can barely tolerate sipping on it. It's so spicy.
No way.
Like, that's probably like one of my all-time favorite things.
All right. Noted. Speaking of spicy, I have a story. Do we have time for?
Yes.
Well, it's actually not that long, but it's just pretty. So spicy. I love spicy foods too, and in like dosages though, like I wouldn't eat like a soup or something. It's like all spicy.
Yes. Yes.
When I was in high school, my stepdad's friend was growing these peppers, the Trinidad scorpion peppers.
Oh.
I remember my stepdad like came home one day with like a bag of, like a brown bag. I'm like, JC, like, what's in there? It's like, what do you have in there? Like, you don't normally have a bag like that. And I opened it. I'm like, oh, are these bell peppers? He's like, all right, I gotta sit you down for these. So, yeah, they were scary.
How did it unfold?
So he was like, my friend grows these and he wanted you to have them so you could cook for them. Not for them. Cook with them. And so he's like, whatever you do, just don't take it to school. So in my head, it was like, take it to school.
bring them and pass them around. Boil them for the whole room. Yes.
So I quickly became the pepper dealer of my high school.
Okay.
It was a one-day stint.
That pepper. All right.
So I got caught in my tracks. So my friend ate them in the bathroom. His name was Chan, and he was like so sick, and I'm like, please just like take a little bite, like don't eat the whole thing. He's like, stop, like it's a pepper, like it's stupid. Yeah, so I felt the pepper like on my skin for like 6 months.
I believe that. Yeah.
So got sent home, and that was that.
So is that the only time you ever got sent to the principal's office?
Yes, and the nurse from that day, she's the bomb. She just messaged me on LinkedIn. She goes, pepper dealer, like, are you cooking with peppers?
Oh my gosh, so that echoed through your high school career. You were the pepper dealer. Dang.
Yes. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Let me know if you ever need any.
Yeah, right? I got a girl now. I know where to get the hookup. Oh my gosh. Did you actually end up cooking with them?
No, I think like my mom went and like threw them out because they weren't.
They're
there.
literally like toxic at that point. Just the sheer I made just your basic, the shrimp and cream cheese filled jalapeno where you wrap it in the bacon, throw it on the grill, your basic bitch poppers. But we got these peppers on St. Thomas that I don't know where the fuck they got these peppers, but like they were so spicy that just having them, I had gloves, but I think that one of the gloves had a rip after stuff, we were de-seeding, trying, we weren't like boiling them or doing anything, but just like pulling the seeds out. And my hand burned for maybe like 5 days after.
Are you serious?
Yeah, just that. I know exactly what you're talking about, of the way the oil just like, it just felt like someone was just like stretching my skin open.
It's like evil. And then you like touch your face and it's on your face.
Oh yeah. It's pepper life.
One time I was cooking dinner for someone, and I didn't realize that the pepper it was like very spicy. So that was like that was a whole mess. Like I went to like wash my face, and I was like all over it. Just
no.
And it was like it was some local pepper, and they were like, yeah, no, it's spicy. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, but it's not like super spicy.
I feel like everyone after listening to this podcast episode is gonna be like, what kind of pepper is she putting peppers in her meal?
Yeah. It can be pepper free. It's a customized pepper dosage.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Well, Lauren, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to share stories, share a little glimpse of who you are. It has been so cool to see the waves that you're creating here in our culinary scene in Charleston, and I appreciate you being on the Ruby Hour.
Shelby, thank you for having me. It's been so fun.
It's a sexy smile, looking forward to see you. I hope I won't lose control. Love you every night, no checking the time, just us loving you.